Okay, everybody, it's Gavin from the Fit Body Farm back here, and this week we're talking about carbohydrates, which are often victimised when we're trying to get in shape. But the truth is, we just need to be a little bit smarter. Okay, so first up, what are carbohydrates? Well, they could be categorised into three different types: sugar, starch, and fibre. So sugar is found naturally in some foods, I should say. For example, fruit, honey, and there's natural sugars found in milk as well. Or the way we think of it is it's added to foods such as sweets, biscuits, cereals, and soft drinks. Okay, the reality is that most processed foods, if it comes in a packet or a can, almost all processed foods will have sugar added to it now. Okay, there's a small percentage that won't, but if you look at the back of the packet, you'll either see sugar as one of the ingredients or something ending in ose, which is a type of sugar, anything ending in ose. Um, Now, starchy carbs are made up of many sugar units bonded together. So things like grains, like rice, potatoes, bread, pasta. Fibre comes from fruit, vegetables, and pulses. So fibre keeps the bowels healthy, so you're regular. There is a large number of people I actually speak to who will only be going to the toilet and yeah, basically doing a number two, um, maybe every second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, or even seventh day. Okay, if you're working or if your pipe work's working well, if your bowels are working well, then it should be daily for you, at least daily. Okay, so that's where fibre from these sources can help you out. Few things you might not realise. Okay, so when we eat carbohydrates, they're converted into glucose. All right, and that's the form that we utilise it in. Okay, so it's used to fuel cells such as those in the brain and muscles. It's foolish to label carbs as bad or try to avoid them completely. Okay, so things like the Atkins diet, Dukin diet, South Beach diet, these diets which are low or no carb diets, they'll only work for so long. Okay, maybe a week tops. You get great results, and then you start to feel pretty shitty, and are more likely just to regain all the weight. Okay, so the real problem is that most people consume far too many carbohydrates from sugar, okay, when they don't need to. The best time to consume sugary carbohydrates, okay, whether they're coming from a bar of chocolate or whether it's coming from a piece of fruit, okay, would be immediately after intense exercise, okay, or during exercise bouts lasting longer than 60 to 90 minutes. Okay, because at this time, this is when the sugary carbohydrates we use to refill energy stores in the muscle and liver. Okay, so it's not they're not going to be stored as fat. Okay, at other times, excess carbohydrate consumption from sugary carbs, especially, are likely to be stored as fat, especially around the love handle area. Okay. Another thing you might not realise is somebody who's naturally lean or has more muscle will tolerate more carbs than somebody who's overweight. All right, I'll talk about a bit more about this next week. But this, the people you can kind of get frustrated at because it's like, oh, you seem to be able to eat as much as you want and anything you want and get away with it. Okay, well, the reality is that yeah, somebody who's naturally lean and has more muscle can tolerate more carbs. The people who are overweight often have a diet which is higher in sugars. Okay, but those are the exact people who actually tolerate it worse. Okay, so it's a bit of a catch-22 on that front. Now, if you can keep your blood sugars level, then your body will start to burn off your stored fat. Okay, but if you're always dealing with like consistent blood sugar spikes, as shown in this model below, where we have a bit of a carb overload, okay, and then we have a bit of a rebound slump, all right, where if you think of something like Christmas dinner where you've got potatoes and Yorkshire puddings, you've got desserts, okay, and you feel fine for half an hour, 45 minutes afterwards, and then you feel very tired. Well, that's the big blood sugar crash you're getting, okay? The problem is that a lot of people have these blood sugar spikes and crashes going on through the whole day, so your body can never actually get tapped into the stored fat that you want to get rid of. Okay, so how much should you have of things like grains, starches, beans, and fruits? You're talking between 1 and 2 cup size portions. So the image on the left, we've got sweet potatoes, which would be classified as a higher carbohydrate food, and some berries there, some fruit that should be classified as some higher carbohydrate food. So that's about a cupped handful of each cooked. All right. And then on the other side, you can see what 1 cup handful would look like. All right, so I just give you some kind of visual idea of what portions look like, and you'd be having those about 3 times per day. Now, if you're eating the right types of carbohydrates in the right amounts, then you may want to consider a wee bonus strategy, which is called carb timing. This involves only eating sugary or starchy carbs on workout days. Okay, so on days you do a workout, and more specifically in the meal after the workout, because that's when your body's primed to use the carbohydrates, the sugars coming in, okay, to refill energy stores, okay, as opposed to going to the love handles. At all other times, your carbs will come from vegetables, maybe a little bit of fruit as well. Okay, in other words, you'd be replacing your grains with more greens, unless you've done a workout. All right. But like I said, there's little point in employing this strategy if you aren't already consistently eating unprocessed forms of carbohydrates and plenty of vegetables. Okay, and if you're a Fit Body Farm member watching this, then make sure you check out the members manual and the members website for a longer list of healthy carb choices which we recommend. So in conclusion, what's your priorities? First up, where are you getting carbohydrates from? Okay, how much are you having, and then when are you having them? There's no point in focusing on number 3 if at number 1 your majority of carbohydrate intake is coming from things like biscuits, cakes, sweets, alcohol, fizzy drinks, and other kind of processed forms like bread and pasta. Right? You want to be looking for more of your intake coming from a lot of vegetables, some fruit, and then some starchy grains, for example, or potatoes. All right. So you've got to do number 1 first, before you can then progress on to number 2 and number 3. All right. That's it from me this week. Hopefully you've found that helpful. Hit me up with any comments you've got. Okay. Bye bye.